Hello, and welcome to Mofo RC Garage. Today, I just want to speak a little bit on Scx24 motor replacements. So, you recently burned out your motor, or you're just looking to upgrade to a new motor, something a little better, a little stronger, a little slower maybe, a little faster maybe, whatever the option may be that you're looking for. You've ended on this video here. Maybe you've already made your choice, or maybe this will help you decide something. But a couple things I want to go through. Figuring out why your motor may have burned out in the first place. Now, if it's just a stock motor that burned out on the Scx24, those only have little tiny metal tangs as brushes, and the little metal tangs rub on the armature and they eventually just burn out. You know, they can only last so long, especially if you've upgraded to any sort of brass or bigger wheels and tires or anything like that. But when you do finally purchase that new motor you purchased, you know, you spent your hard-earned money or your wife's money or your mom's money or whatever it is, and you want that new motor to last. A couple things you can do to ensure you're not just wasting money. First thing, before you install that motor, make sure there's no binding in your driveline. You know, if you've recently put new shocks on your Scx24 and now it looks like a monster truck, you know, sits really high in the air, and your drive shafts are kind of at a really severe angle, that's going to cause binding and going to give you issues, and probably going to burn out your motor faster. Your motor's going to run hot. It's not going to be as smooth. So definitely look for that. Also, you can do is you can take off your drive shafts from the differential. Take that one little screw out, pull the drive shaft off of the front or rear differential, and just spin that little shaft behind by hand. Or even you can also even leave that one end on, take it off from the transmission. That way you got something a little bit easier to grab a hold of. There should be almost zero force when you turn that drive shaft by hand. If you feel any real force while you're turning that by hand and spinning your wheels and tires and everything still on the vehicle, you have some binding somewhere, and it's going to cause heat and it's going to cause things to burn out. So definitely check that. Also, check your wheel nuts. You know, I know sometimes the little nylon lock nuts wear out and the wheel nuts come loose, and so you have a tendency of cranking them on tighter and without really thinking about it. Well, mainly the front of the Scx24, but also the back. When you crank those nuts on really tight, it actually smushes your little hex against the bearings in the front and kind of locks everything up. And so that's going to cause it to bind a lot and wear out that motor way faster than normal. So definitely check that. Check your wheel nuts. Make sure they're not too tight. You want to be able to just blow on your tire, you know, forwards or backwards, and it should move. It will stop. It will come to a stopping point, but there is a certain amount of movement that you'll be able to have just by blowing on it. Other things you want to check, if you just put like plus 4mm axles or plus 6mm axles in there, or some new brass steering knuckles, check those as well. Make sure that when you're turning, your whole car isn't tending to jump or wobble or anything like that. If it is, go ahead and just turn down your steering exponential, the little dial on there that makes your tires turn farther to the right or left. Turn that down to the point where it's not jumping when you're turning. That's going to save you a lot of grief as well. I just finished pressing on all the pinion gears on these brand new torquebeast2 50 motors. These are black chrome plated on the outer case. Let's see if we can get it to focus here. Ugh. Get closer to something. Oh, hold on. My autofocus isn't on. There we go. So these have a really pretty finish on the outside. They're also a 28,000 RPM motor. I think I said in my other video around 27. These are 28,000 RPM. This batch here, the first batch I've received, I went ahead and numbered all of them, 1 through 28 of the ones that I'm selling. I'm keeping one for myself. I also used one. I took one apart to check everything, make sure it was all spec'd out correctly. So these are mostly all sold. I sold 20 of them already. I do have 8 left that I'm going to kind of hold on to and maybe sell a couple at a time here or there as I need, or if one burns out or something, I'll have a warranty for it. But one other thing I do want to go through with these motors, and any motor, anytime you buy a new motor and you've spent more than $10 on a new motor, one real nice, easy thing you can do, and this goes back for a really long time. I'm not the first one to tell you this, but how you can go ahead and break these motors in. So if you've got your rig here, before you take it apart and install anything, just go ahead and plug your motor into it here, like so. Oops, sorry, you guys aren't even watching. So plug the motor in, turn your remote on, go ahead and plug in the battery, turn it on. Okay. Now what I'm going to do to break this motor in, new motors will have a flat brush. The brush is going to look like a square when they're brand new, and the brushes will wear into the armature or whatever, where the brush is contacted. They're going to wear into it, and if you don't break them in first, they may wear in at a bad angle, or they could burn up pretty much instantly and kind of what's it called, create like a hot spot where your whole armature is darkened right there where the brush is right. I can't remember what all that stuff's called. So what I'm going to do to break this in, I'm going to go to the remote. I'm just going to turn it on low right here. Push that little button right there to L, or low speed. And now you've got your rig. The controller is turned on to low speed. I'm going to take and I'm just going to pull the trigger and hold it about half throttle-ish. And you're going to sit and kind of just hold it at about half throttle going forward on low speed for about 20-30 seconds. I won't do this the whole way through. But every now and then, I don't know if you can hear the motor. Every now and then you'll hear it kind of go whiz, 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 you know, little zippers. You know, I kind of exaggerated that. But every now and then you might hear something a little strange, and it could just be your finger moving. But you'll notice the motor will start spinning faster as this breaks in. And after about 20-30 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and go into reverse and do the same thing. Just hold it, you know, about quarter to half throttle, just to get it spinning and start to wear in the contacts where the brushes go. And on when you're on low speed, you could probably even just hold it on, you know, pull the trigger the whole way. You hear the motor keep getting faster and faster as I'm doing this. If you just jam the motor in there and start going, you're not going to get the correct proper wear in. and the motor's not going to work to its full efficiency the whole time that you have it. I'm going to go back to forward again, and now listen to how much faster that sucker's spinning now. Just after, you know, a minute of slowly breaking it in, the thing's going into like overdrive now here. And I'll just, you know, play with it a little bit. Forward, backward. It's probably pretty much broken in right now. I mean, you could go longer. You could go for maybe a minute or two doing that. I'm going to go back to high speed. And now when I hold it at full throttle, there's no skips. It just zings. You know, sings a nice little pretty song for us here. This motor is now properly broken in. Or at least for the most part properly. I don't know. I'm not a professional expert on breaking in a motor. But it's definitely better than if you were not to break in the motor first. Just a little food for thought. These motors, I have ordered a lot of them, but it may take, you know, it may take them another month or two to get them all manufactured and then sent to me. Maybe even longer, I don't know. This first batch took quite a long time already. I do have some new ugly chassis coming. The first batch that I'm getting, I think, are actually going to be in carbon fiber. I haven't really told a lot of people this, but it's a redesigned chassis just a little bit, and it will be in carbon fiber for the first batch I get. I don't think I'm getting any of the aluminum ones yet. I might be, I'm not sure. But I've also taken some fat and some meat off of the aluminum one as well, to help bring that weight down a little bit closer to where you want it to be. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this helpful as far as motor break-in. You know, try to do this if you're going to spend money on something, you know, especially a hobby like this where it can get really expensive spending money on this hobby. Try to take a little bit of time and just really love your motor. You know, I mean, I build these things with love, and it breaks my heart when somebody burns one out because they had a wheel nut too tight or a binding steering or something like that. Especially this first batch. I might cry the first time someone calls me and tells me one of these doesn't work. And hopefully it's a year from now and not a week. So thank you for watching. Have a good day. It's close to the weekend, so enjoy the weekend if I don't post another video before then. And we'll talk to you soon.